In the fading light of the 14th century, the land once known as Korea was spiraling into decay. For over 400 years, the Goryeo Dynasty had reigned over the Korean peninsula, a land known for its devotion to Buddhism, its rich scholarly tradition, and a proud military that had once resisted the Mongol invasions. But by the late 1300s, that glory had rotted from within. The once mighty kingdom had become a fractured, corrupt, and faltering shadow of itself. Mongol influence still lingered like a ghost in the royal court. The power-hungry nobility was divided. Some ministers pledged loyalty to the weakening Yuan dynasty of the Mongols, while others whispered of a rising force in the north, the Ming Dynasty of China. The country stood on a knife's edge, bleeding from internal wounds and staring down the barrel of foreign wars it could not afford. At the center of this historical pressure cooker was General Yi Seong-gye, a brilliant military tactician, born into a powerful family in 1335. Yi had made a name for himself defending Korea's borders from both Mongol rebels and Japanese pirates. Charismatic, decisive, and respected by soldiers across the land, Yi was more than a general. He was a man many saw as the only hope for a crumbling kingdom. In 1388, the pro-Mongol faction within the Goryeo royal court made a fatal mistake. They ordered General Yi to march north and launch an attack against Ming China. It was an absurd command, designed more to preserve dying loyalties to the Mongols than to defend the people of Korea. To obey the order would have meant annihilation for Yi's army. To disobey it would mean open rebellion against the crown. Standing with his troops at the Amnok River, General Yi made a choice that would rewrite the history of an entire nation. He turned his army around, not to return home, but to march on the capital itself. This move, later called the Wihwado Retreat, was not a retreat at all. It was a revolution, and the opening blow in a battle that would change Korea forever. Yi's forces advanced rapidly southward, toward Gaegyeong, the ancient capital. His army, forged in the fires of border conflicts and hardened by loyalty to their commander, met little resistance at first. The capital's defenders, many of whom were either underpaid or disillusioned, were unprepared for the precision and discipline of Yi's march. But the most loyal soldiers of the royal court, the Red Robes, elite palace guards sworn to protect King Yu, prepared for a final defense. They barricaded the royal palace, drawing lines in blood to defend the last gasp of the Goryeo Dynasty. The streets of Gaegyeong turned into rivers of flame and steel. Buildings burned, shrines were looted, arrows hissed through the air like whispers of death. Civilians fled in terror as the city's spiritual heart, its temples and towers, crumbled. The battle was brutal, fast, and decisive. The Red Robes made a final, desperate stand in the Daebong Pavilion surrounding King Yu. But Yi's generals, cold and calculating, ordered volleys of arrows until every last one of the defenders had fallen. When the dust settled, King Yu was captured, and not long after executed. The Goryeo Dynasty, born in the year 918, was no more. The old order had fallen, not to an invading army, but to its own reborn sons. But General Yi was not simply a warlord seeking to seize the throne. For 6 years after the fall of Gaegyeong, he ruled cautiously through puppet kings, consolidating power, rebuilding institutions, and re-establishing a sense of stability. Then in 1392, Yi made his move. He declared the founding of a new dynasty, Joseon, named after an ancient Korean kingdom of enlightenment and strength. It was more than a change of leadership. It was a reset of national identity. The capital was moved to Hanyang, present-day Seoul, symbolizing a fresh beginning. Temples were rebuilt as Confucian academies. The military was reorganized. Corruption was purged. And with the establishment of this new state came another subtle but significant transformation: the name itself. As Joseon engaged with China, Japan, and Western traders, a linguistic shift began. The ancient name Korea, long used by foreigners to refer to the peninsula, began to evolve. Diplomatic documents, trade records, and travel writings began to use Korea with a K. Some say the spelling shift came from Japanese and European influence, as K was a more natural rendering of the Korean pronunciation in their alphabets. Others argue that the Ming Dynasty's recognition of the new state under the name Joseon further encouraged a new international identity, one not rooted in the Goryeo or Korea of the past. Whatever the reason, as the Joseon dynasty rose, Korea became the new face of the nation on the world stage. But the changes were more than cosmetic. Under Yi Seong-gye, now known as King Taejo, the first monarch of Joseon, Korea entered an age of remarkable transformation. Buddhism, once the state religion, was gradually replaced by Neo-Confucianism, which emphasized rational governance, filial piety, and moral order. New laws were written. Land reforms empowered farmers. Civil service exams opened doors to merit-based governance. Diplomacy replaced conquest. In time, Yi's descendants would bring forth innovations that shaped Korean identity for centuries, most notably Hangul, the Korean writing system, developed under King Sejong, Taejo's grandson. This rebirth was not without its struggles. Internal factionalism remained. Foreign threats never fully vanished. And yet, from the ashes of Gaegyeong's burning skyline, from the blood-soaked stones of a battle fought between countrymen, Korea emerged, not merely as a new dynasty, but as a new idea. The shift from Korea to Korea was not a simple renaming. It marked the passing of one world and the dawn of another. Korea represented a kingdom clinging to decaying alliances, to Buddhist theocracy, to feudal infighting. Korea under Joseon represented rational order, central rule, cultural pride, and survival in a dangerous world. And all of it, every reform, every written law, every philosophical realignment, traces back to that one pivotal decision in 1388. When General Yi stood at the river and turned back, he didn't just turn his army, he turned the fate of an entire people. And so today, when we speak of Korea, north or south, ancient or modern, we are speaking of a nation born not simply from treaties or traditions, but from rebellion, from fire, from war. A battle that ended a dynasty, a march that ignited a revolution, and a man who had the vision to see beyond the battlefield and into the future. Yi Seong-gye did not just win a war, he forged a country. The name Korea may now seem natural, permanent, unquestioned, but behind that name lies a forgotten war, a fallen city, and a general who refused to obey a corrupt king. Behind that name lies a story carved into history, not with a pen, but with a blade. If you found this story of Korea's rebirth through war and revolution powerful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow history lovers. Drop a comment below if you want us to cover the life of King Taejo or the legacy of the Joseon Dynasty in future episodes. History isn't just about dates, it's about the battles that still echo through time.